listen in now, facing questions on pro-Khalistani gatherings, attacks where the Indian consulate and Indian diplomats are concerned, and the element and the brewing pro-Khalistan sentiment where Canada is concerned. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau spoke a short while ago, forcing India to retort as well. Listen in.
They are wrong. Canada has always taken extremely seriously violence and threats of violence. We've always taken serious action against terrorism, and we always will. We have an extremely diverse country, and freedom of expression is something that we have, but we will always make sure that we are pushing back against violence and extremism in all its forms.
We have seen some comments, at least the media reports about comments by Prime Minister Trudeau. But let me make the larger point that the issue is not...
All right, at the back of that statement made by the Canadian Prime Minister, you have the Indian Ministry of External Affairs responding very clearly, quoting that that at the highest diplomatic level, the issue of Khalistani sympathizing has been raised where Canada is concerned, especially where it comes down to safety of Indian diplomats or the Indian Commission, and there is a sense that possibly Canada is being soft on Khalistan supporters for votes. All of this coming at the back of the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's statement there. Now, all of this comes in the wake, viewers, at a time where the centre had summoned the Canadian envoy and issued a démarche over the increasing activities by pro-Khalistani elements and a pro-Khalistani sentiment surge on Canadian soil. And we have seen that happen in other countries as well. However, you saw that demarcation being made by the Ministry of External Affairs, where it was stated very clearly that where the attack on the Indian consulate in San Francisco is concerned, it was escalated at the highest level and responded by the United States of America in a similar fashion. However, that kind of alacrity of redressal wasn't seen in the form where Canada is concerned, and where Canada is concerned, India has made its stand very, very clear as well. It also comes in the wake of India summoning the Canadian envoy and issuing a démarche over what India calls is heightened pro-Khalistani activity, especially against Indian diplomats and the Indian consulates abroad. Now, Justin Trudeau, when questioned on India's question on pro-Khalistani gatherings, attack on consulate, the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had said his country has always taken threats of violence extremely seriously. When he was asked about a parade float which glorified the murder, the killing of the Indian Prime Minister then, Indira Gandhi, Justin Trudeau at that point of time had responded to the allegations on being soft on Khalistani supporters, possibly for electoral goals. He had said then they are wrong. Canada has always taken serious view of violence and threat of violence. I want to cut across to our External Affairs editor, Geeta Mohan, who's joining us for more. Geeta, statement issued by the Ministry of External Affairs at the back of the Canadian envoy who was called, and a démarche given in terms of the heightened Khalistani, pro-Khalistani activity on Canadian soil.
Well, that's right, Preeti. Not just Canada. We're looking at statement from the Ministry of External Affairs with regards to the UK, to US administration's response, as also finally to Canada's response. And while Justin Trudeau has said that they do not tolerate any kind of extremism or violence, particularly against Indian missions and diplomats, the fact is that there has been an increase in Khalistani extremism, separatism and violence against the Indian missions, as also a threat, in many ways you could call it direct threat against Indian diplomats by putting out their details and their pictures on posters across Canada. So that's certainly the concern.
Geeta, has the Ministry of External Affairs said that Justin Trudeau is legitimizing the violence on Canadian soil? Has there been a direct response to Justin Trudeau's statement by naming the Prime Minister of Canada?
Well, that's right, Preeti. The fact that the Ministry of External Affairs has indeed come out and explained itself when it comes to the kind of the kind of statement that Prime Minister Trudeau made, and in that they have actually come out and said that India has strongly condemned the entire incident, and that the issue is not about freedom of expression but an adequate action on violence, extremism and terrorism in the name of the space should not be given to such people. While Preeti, the statement does not really mention Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, but it does really speak very explicitly about the fact that there is a certain amount of double speak by Canada when it comes to what action has been taken and what is happening in on Canadian soil, or for that matter in Canada. The fact that there has been no prosecution, that in the name of freedom of expression, the extremists are allowed to carry out anti-India propaganda, and that assassins of Indira Gandhi are celebrated in Canada is not just condemnable but also should invite action, and that action certainly has not come about. But if you look at the statement that came from Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, he very clearly said that it won't be tolerated and that any kind of extremism is not tolerated. We do know that démarches have been issued in New Delhi as also in Ottawa, and the Indian side really is seeking some sort of assurance from Canada under the Vienna Convention. India has spelled out that this is an obligation of the host country under Vienna Convention to provide absolute safety and security. The US administration, Preeti, did come out and say that they are obliged to under Vienna Convention and they will adhere to that. Similarly, the UK administration also did the same. But when it comes to Canada, there has been certain amount of reluctance in terms of how they're approaching the entire incident, how they're approaching India's concerns, and what freedom of expression really means to Canada in terms of allowing the space to Khalistani.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Geeta, for that clarity. Thank you.